So as you saw from the video title, we have the Thinborne case in for the 9 Pro Fold in the building, in the lab for testing. And this is not the original Thinborne. This is actually the revised 2.0 edition. Funny enough, the folks at Thinborne were dope enough to put that 2.0 right there. So let's go ahead and get into this, man. See what is going on with the revisions. I do want to provide a little bit of context now. Some of you may feel like that's time consuming and you don't have time for that. You just want to find out how this case is running. Maybe you already know what's going on. So if that's the case, I'm going to leave a timestamp right here. That way you can go to that exact time and that way you can skip all the context. So just to give a little bit of context about why a 2.0 was needed. So first and foremost, unless you've been living under a rock, when it comes to wireless charging on the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, Google with their design. This is a huge design departure from the original Pixel Fold. And what Google ended up doing was actually moving the placement of the wireless charging coil. So instead of it being, a little bit further up, it was never, perfectly centered on Pixel devices, but it typically was just a little bit further down. It's actually quite a bit further down the device. And what was happening is with a lot of the MagSafe compatible cases that were launching from brands like Pataka, Tudia, and Thinborne, was obviously a part of that. What ended up happening was their cases, when you would try to use them for MagSafe wireless charging, the case itself just wouldn't work. It wouldn't charge. The coils weren't aligned. You were going to run into some issues. So Thinborne went back to the drawing board on that and revised their case to make sure that they got it working perfectly for this device. And obviously, we're going to test that out today. That's not the only revision they made. They did do some things in terms of how the case is cut to make sure that the fit is proper, as well as making sure that when you have the device closed, I know one of the things some people were making mention of was that the insides of the case wouldn't fully allow your device to close. So you would end up sometimes getting dirt and debris caught on the inside if your device, was forced to stay open or anything like that. So both of those things, to my knowledge, have been knocked out, taken care of. Let's go ahead and dig in and find out what Thinborne has in store for us. So dope packaging. Obviously, got your aramid fiber material, Thinborne logo right there front and center. Open this bad boy up. You have your normal, paperwork. I showed this on my 9 Pro Excel video, but I'll kind of show it here and just you can pause the video and read that if you need to. To make a long story short, with the way that stand chargers are made, more than likely, most of your MagSafe aramid fiber cases are not going to work with those. Now, if you have a stand that is MagSafe compatible, that will work. But if you have just like a traditional stand that does not have MagSafe, more than likely, it's not going to work. Now, I'm going to pull this off real quick for y'all. Quick side tangent. I do have this type of stand where I can actually, with a screw, change the location of where the charger is. If you have something like this, you probably won't have any issues if you're using this, but your traditional stands where you can't really control where my bad. I had to get that plug back in. But where you can't really control where the coil is going to be at or how it aligns, you might run into some issues. So make sure you keep proper tabs on that. This next one is just more so giving you some information in regards to the case itself, aramid fiber, how it works, how to clean it, all that good stuff, man. So you can pause that. And front and center, you already see the Thinborne case. Let me go ahead and get this out of the box. And now what I want to try to do is put these side by side. It's going to be a little bit tough to tell because it honestly doesn't look all that much, further down the phone or anything like that. I know typically the MagSafe coil is usually about right there or so, but like now as you can see, it is a little bit further down. So like I said, definitely something to keep in mind as we had to get that 2.0 revision. You got some adhesive strip, or not some, but you have an adhesive strip right here. Always dope to see that. I know sometimes the super thin cases don't have one on this side. Don't know why a brand would leave that out. You obviously need something to be able to stick this part to your phone. That way you don't have your camera housing area kind of wiggling around or feeling loose or anything like that. So Thinborne got you covered with that. We also got some extra adhesive strips, man. Always dope to see foldable case manufacturers give you some additional ones of these, and you actually get two here in this packaging. If you want to swap out cases, you know, some people aren't set and they want to see how a case is going to look. So you got two extra ones, and then you got some more information here about who to reach out to if you're having any issues or anything like that, man. So I'm going to file that to the side. And then lastly, you can see we have this super thin cover piece. Now, typically, I'm not a big fan of these front covers on foldables. It'll mess with gestures and it just doesn't stay on, stuff like that. So I know one of the revisions that the Thinborne team did do was they actually added some extra adhesive strips. Like you'll notice this front cover piece now has 4 adhesive strips. Typically, you don't get one along this side, but you do get one here and a couple here. So shout out to Thinborne for giving us the extra one here on this side. So you can see, shouldn't have any issues with that adhering. Now, that's everything you get in the box. So let me just take this off to the side. And because I'm fairly certain that this is where I'm going to wind up at in terms of my everyday case, we're going to go ahead and fully commit right here on camera for y'all, man, because I know y'all really want to know what's going on with the Thinborne. So let's go ahead and get that on. I want to make sure that I apply some pressure here. Make sure that is fully on. All right, so we got some pressure, and I can already tell you, like, typically with some cases that don't have that adhesive strip on this side, you'll kind of feel them go back and forth. Shout out to the homie Shane over at Scary If Literal. Go check out his channel. He actually did a review on the Pataka variant of this same super thin aramid fiber, and he actually called out exactly what I'm talking about. So if you're not quite understanding, go check out his video. I'll leave a link to his channel down in the description. If you want to know about foldables, those kind of more weird devices like your Surface Duos and stuff like that, the devices that we typically like because they are different, Shane is a masterclass at coverage. So go and show that man some love and look, check out his Pataka one and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But this has no movement whatsoever. Like there's no movement. It is firmly stuck in place. Now, let me go ahead and get this front piece on. I'm going to try to get these off because there are 4. Put that over to the side. Got another one here. Another one down here. Oh, that one's a little bit harder to get off. Oh, I'm actually pulling up the adhesive. Oops. Got to make sure you don't do that. Yeah, there we go. And then lastly, we got this one right here. Yeah, just be careful when you're pulling these off because you don't want to pull off the actual adhesive. They do give you some extra ones, but you know, you don't want to waste any of these strips. So I'm really digging how thin this front piece is though. Like look at that head on. Like that's really, really thin. Typically don't see that. I know one of my biggest issues with a lot of these aramid fiber cases for say like the OnePlus Open is like the minute you put on like a super thin case on that, or even like one of your traditional like aramid fiber style cases, like the minute you put that on, it's impacting your gestures and all that stuff, man. It's just a pain in the butt to really deal with. So now I'm just going to go ahead and apply some pressure on everywhere that the adhesive strips were. So that's typically how I apply my cases. So definitely top and bottom. You're going to go ahead and apply some pressure there. And then this side, you obviously want to apply some pressure there. And then last but not least, you want to make sure you go in and apply some pressure here. And with that, turn on my flashlight. And with that, we should be good to go. So that's going to be what your device is going to look like. And the Thinborne case, in my opinion, looks very, very good. You can see the Thinborne team wanted to keep it as thin as possible so it didn't impact your gestures or anything like that. Also, funny enough, man, and this is pretty dope, you actually get a little bit of a lip there. Typically with these aramid fiber cases, like you don't get much of a lip. You can kind of see it more here on this side too. I'll have to give that a little bit of pressure and push it down some more, but you get a nice little lip around the device too. That way, when you do go to put it face down, you're not necessarily putting your phone face down on the screen. It's not a whole lot because remember, these cases aren't designed with drop protection or any of that in mind. These are really designed for super thin, light, minimal people like myself who don't really like cases, right? So we have that side good. That's what the rear is going to look like with that nice hit. Absolutely love how that Pixel 9 Pro Fold camera housing stands out against the aramid fiber. Looks really good. Let's give that an open. You can see on this side, looking really, really good. No issues. Trying to give y'all like a little quick tour around the device. So you can see along the edges. And I love that it doesn't impact like this little area where your magnets are. I know that that was one of the issues that a lot of people were kind of reporting because of the fact that they couldn't fully like close their fold. So as you can see, literally close it and you can still hear that same satisfying sound. Typically, when you put on a case and it's blocking those magnets, you can hear that it changes the sound that your device makes when you close it. And if you're somebody who's been using foldables for a while, you'll know the exact sound I'm talking about when I'm saying, you know, how it sounds when you close the foldable. It's like a thunk. It's really satisfying. So you obviously are still going to get that with this case. It's nice and thin. You can tell that they definitely did something a little bit different with that front cover. So never seen anybody quite do it like that before. Like I said, I might have to give it a little bit more pressure here in this little top area just because I can see where it is kind of lifting a little bit. But again, it's just me needing to apply more pressure. Yeah, there we go. Looks like I might have gotten it there. So there you go. Applied some pressure there to make sure we get that flush. All right, and we should be good to go. But let's go ahead and take a tour of it, and then we'll fully test out all of like the little revision and changes with the MagSafe. I even brought in my MagBack wallet because I know with this magnet being lower, I want to see how that impacts it too. But let's take a tour on the device. You got your buttons and cutouts right there. So you're going to be using the same buttons that Google intended. If you look at the top, you can see you got your cutouts pretty much in alignment here. Like I said, this front piece, I got to give it a little bit more pressure, but you can see when I actually fit it properly and actually, you know, make the effort to get it to stick, it's going to be spot on. You're not going to have any real issues there. A little bit there, but good to go. You have your other cutout here, which I want to say this is for an antenna. Got your mic cutout, which that is pinpoint accurate and precise right there. And then let's take it over to the bottom. These ones also are looking very good. Nice wide USB-C port, mic cutout, speaker, another mic, good to go. And then that's what your hinge is gonna look like. So no hinge protection with this bad boy. You gotta know that going in. So that's what the case looks like. Give you a look on the inside too. You know, we already did that, but get a nice little look of what that's gonna look like when the device is unfolded. See if I can get that in focus for y'all. It's really thin, so it's a little bit tough. Some like good praise, a good problem to have, I guess, but a little bit tough to get that in focus. But you can see it sits for the most part flush with the device, so no real issues there. Like I said, I just got to give this side a little bit of extra love and attention. I got to give it some more pressure and stuff. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on to what I'm sure y'all all want to see, which is going to be the testing portion. So first things first, let me check out the wallet compatibility because I'm really curious about this myself. So as you can see, magnet locks right into place and it sits perfectly flush. Like looking at this, you even have a little bit of extra room. So a lot of people were worried about the magnet placement being shifted lower, what that was going to mean for wallets. But as you can see, I'm not holding the wallet, you know, to try to fake it or anything for y'all. This is exactly what you can expect. So try to make sure I get that in focus for y'all. But you can see it's not, you know, hanging off the edge or anything like that. It's on there perfectly. It's on there flush. You're not going to have no issues. And this is just a typical wallet case. I don't think that they make these, you know, bigger or anything like that. But this is just the mag back case I always use and it works no issues. So you don't have to sacrifice using your wallet if you want to go with the 2.0 version of the case. I saw some people on Reddit having that conversation. Now for the MagSafe test, what I decided to do was actually bring in my ESR Halo lock. This is about as MagSafe wireless charging as you're gonna get. My mount is literally the exact same as this, except it's a car mount. And then my nightstand one is the same. It's a wireless charger with MagSafe compatibility. That's exactly what this is. So let's go ahead and throw it on the back there. And you can see no issues as far as the charging. Let me unlock the screen and you can see right there in the top, you got your charging indicator along with that battery percentage. So no issues there. Absolutely loving that. So it looks like everything was, you know, set pretty perfectly. Like I said, I do need to give this side a little bit of extra love. I might go in and add one of those extra adhesives, add one of those extra adhesive strips that comes with the case, add it to that top left area just to make sure that it sits flush. But once I do that, man, like I don't have any real issues with this particular case. a home run, in all honesty. Like, I'm totally good with this. Like, it's gonna give you that MagSafe that we all know and love. You are getting your charging, no issues. I even went from 88%. You can see I'm now at 89%. So it ain't one of those, oh, it says it's charging, but it's not really charging. Like, no, it is still 100% fully charging, man. And again, we saw how everything checked out with the wallet. Let me move that out the way. We saw how everything checked out as far as the wallet. There's no issues with the wallet. Magnets is still just as strong as they were on the Pixel 9 Pro XL version that I tested too. You still got to give it that force to pull it off, which y'all know I love that. I don't want no weak magnets when I'm driving or anything like that. So I will say, man, shout out and kudos to Thinborne for hopping on that and for delivering a great customer service experience. To my knowledge, everyone who ordered a 1.0 version of the case, as long as you fill out that form, as Thinborne are getting more of these 2.0 versions in, they're actually going to make sure to get you out a revised version. You don't have to return your 1.0 version. You can keep that to protect your phone until the other one arrives. So take advantage of that. Fill out that form if you've already bought one. If you haven't already bought one and you're interested, I would say get your order in, because Thinborne is one of, if not the only ones on the market right now that have a 2.0 version available for you to, pre-purchase, I should say. Not much of a pre-order, but if you order it now, you might have to wait a little bit for it. So if you're interested, I would go ahead and get your order in now. But again, absolute fantastic. I'm loving this case. This is gonna be what I'm rocking for the foreseeable future. And honestly, once I take care of this little front piece here in the top left, I honestly see myself even rocking the front portion of the case, which is something I typically don't say about foldable cases. I typically only rock that back piece and that's it. But this front piece is dope. It's thin enough where I'm not worrying about, missing gestures or anything like that. Let me take it into Spotify, and then I'm just gonna swipe in, and you can see no issues with my gestures whatsoever, regardless of what direction I'm swiping in. And like I said, that was one of the biggest headaches I had with the front portion of cases for, say, like the OnePlus Open or sometimes for the Z Fold, is you would end up having issues with your gestures because the cases just weren't thin enough. They tried to make them a little bit thicker. I'm not sure if the screen protector compatibility had a part of that, but I typically don't run screen protectors on my phones. But that's just me. I live a little dangerously, but that's where we're going to go ahead and put a pin in this one. Again, if you haven't already, go show the folks over at Thinborne some love. Special shout out again to them for responding to what was going on, delivering an awesome customer service experience. Words are hard. And again, thanks for the love and support, y'all. As always, this is Ike's Tech Talk. I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.